when it comes to creating your own boot camp, you ultimately find out, okay, what problem is someone having? How can I create a simple step-by-step process to get an outcome, to get a result, to get a solution, right? They're at point A, or how do I find out steps to get them to point B? Welcome to the Beyond Prosperous podcast, helping you live your legacy from potential to purpose in family, fortune, and faith. And so today, the big question that we're answering is, what is the One Idea Away Bootcamp, and how can you create a bootcamp for yourself and for your business? And so, how I created this bootcamp actually came from me working with a client. And so, really, one of my first clients outside of my circle, right? And so when I decided to work with him, we were working on a podcast. And so I had to basically help him brainstorm, what is this podcast going to be about, and how can you ultimately like really get clear on how I can help you, but also how can we both get clear on what we're actually doing here. And so the way that I even came up with this framework is I was reading the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And in that book, it talks about frameworks. It talks about creating frameworks. And so with that, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna sit down real quick, figure out four things that I can do to ultimately help him get clear on whatever this thing is that we're about to do. And so so basically, from that from that conversation, or from that brainstorm session, I was able to create just this simple framework that I call the identify it framework. And with that, it's actually turned from just a framework to an entire boot camp. And so let me explain that to you. And so basically this framework is the identify it framework. It's ultimately to help you get clear on the identity of your business and the outcome of your clients. And so this is how simple it is. That's how I ultimately created this entire boot camp. Like it's literally that simple. And so when you're trying to create, or when you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I create something that can be impactful, even if it, like for the One Idea Away Bootcamp is a free bootcamp to ultimately help you take one idea and turn it into an offer. And if that's something that you need, then make sure you click the link in the description and you'll be able to go to that page. And also you'll be able to watch the entire bootcamp, but also get access to the workbook. And again, even the workbook is literally just an outline of what the framework is. And so when it comes to you creating your own, we're keeping it simple with everything that you do. And I talk about this in the boot camp. With everything that you do, everything that you create inside of your business, you don't want to just create it for one time use. Everything that you do in your business needs to create a process, needs to create a strategy. And so that is why it's important to have this framework, especially if you're a coach or consultant, or you're trying to teach other people or get results for other people. Because even as an expert, even as someone that's becoming an expert, you want to have these frameworks to lean back on whatever you're coaching, because you want to get consistent, you want to get predictable results for the people that you're working with. And even in your own life, let's say you're not even an entrepreneur, but you're trying to better your life, you're trying to create a life that's better. The more frameworks you have in your life, the more consistent that you're going to be, the more consistent you're able to live and live by your principles, the better your life will be. Like as you consistently grow, as you consistently develop, then you'll really begin to see things change. And so many of you, you may have experience where you have hesitated, or people around you have hesitated, uh, because they feel like that they're walking blindly, right? That's why the frameworks are so important. And even with your boot camp that you'll eventually create, the outcome is going to be predictable because you have the framework. And so when it comes to creating your own boot camp, you ultimately find out, okay, what problem is someone having? How can I create a simple step-by-step process to get an outcome, to get a result, to get a solution, right? They're at point A. How do I find out a point to get them, or how do I find out steps to get them to point B? We're keeping it simple. Like we're not going to overthink it. We're not going to overanalyze it. We're going to say, okay, this is the problem that I want to attack, and now let's figure out how to get them from where they are to where they ultimately desire to be. And so the reason that the One Idea Way Bootcamp is free is because, like, okay, like I want you to freely, easily find that offer, that thing that you're trying to have direction on. Because for some of you, you're not looking for the whole thing. You're like, just tell me what the next step is. Like, how do I take that first step? How do I get that little bit of direction so that I know that I'm going in the right direction? So to find out like what your the purpose of your business is, you need to know, yes, like the offers that you create, but you also need to know who you serve. So that's a part of this framework. You have to like identify the who, identify the purpose, identify where they are, identify all these different things to ultimately position yourself so that you can talk to those people, inspire those people, encourage those people, inform those people, and ultimately have them be a part of your network, your community. Why? So you can help them become the person that they desire to be, right? And so again, this is things that I'm learning along this entrepreneur journey, that when people invest in me, if someone watches my video, they're watching my video to help themselves become the person that they desire to be. They're not watching the video just because they like to hear me speak. And so I get that. So when I come to a platform, when I'm creating my podcast, the biggest thing that I'm trying to figure out is, hey, how can I impact them in such a way they say, that is my guide. That's the guy that I want to be behind. That's the guy that I want to listen to help me get to my purpose, to help me get to my destiny, to ultimately help me create this legacy that I desire to create. And so the inability, I'm gonna read it from here because I have it written down. The inability to identify the right idea that will produce the right offer for the right people can leave an entrepreneur right in the middle of an empty business. And I'm telling you this from experience. And I'm going to read it one more time. And the inability to identify the right idea that will produce the right offer for the right people can leave an entrepreneur right in the middle of an empty business. If you don't know how to clearly identify the offer that your business offers, but also you don't know clearly who this offer is going to be for, and you don't know how to position yourself to get your offer in front of those people, then you're not going to have a consistent business. Something that I heard recently that was really just is so good. It's not about the accumulation of money. It's about the flow of money. And so getting money, thumbs up. But if you don't have a constant revenue, if you don't have a consistent revenue coming into your business, then your business will start to decline. And even Dan Kennedy, he talks about how it's not just about like it, basically your business is going to die if you don't have a constant influx of customers. Period. And so, like, understanding that you have to have lead generation, you have to have the people coming into your business all the time, people getting to know who you are, getting to know what this offer is and what else you offer. That is what allows you to build your business. And so that is what you focus on. So with this framework and with your offers, ultimately you're going to use this framework to create maybe a lead generation, or this boot camp could be paid, whatever it is. But you use the frameworks to ultimately create your offers because you want predictable, consistent results for the people that you help and the people that you work with. And so that is it for today. The One Idea Away Bootcamp. Make sure you click the link in the description in order to get access to the recording of it. And I do these live like every other Friday. And so you can also sign up for, there'll be a link, two different links. So one to access the last recording and the workbook, and another one to sign up for the next live video. And so the next live boot camp. So super excited. Listen, take this information, apply it to your business, apply it to your life, use frameworks to get consistent results out of your life and out of your business, and go and live your legacy.